Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, before we get into that, remember these are general readings, so not everything is going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. And don't forget to use your own discernment. For your key to the week this week, you have the Emperor card, right? In a lot of ways, this is you coming back to your personal power. For a lot of you, this could be you interacting with a professional body or somebody in the professional sphere. This could be somebody that you're aligning with, somebody that wants to help you, or it could just be you working on your career in a more powerful way. This is going to see you making some really big decisions this week and gearing up to or aligning yourself to what feels like it's going to really put you in the driving seat. And I think that's going to be really important for you this week. So remember, for those of you that are continued subbies, you know Rafi loves you. And if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. So your foundation card for the reading is the Two of Wands, right? This is all about the money, baby, all about the moolah. In a lot of ways as well, this sees you treading new paths. Yes, it can be where you're undecided or maybe you're splitting your focus when it comes to your actions. But for me personally, this card usually requires deep action or powerful action or decisive action. You couple this then with the Emperor card. For those of you that are hoping to apply for some sort of funding or appeal to the boss for more finance or more money, or even to increase your own sort of earning potential, this is going to be a great week for you. What I will say to you is putting yourself in that driving seat is going to require action this week, right? You can't be passive about it. You're going to have to be, you know, it's got to come from within. All right. So far, that's a lot of fire as well, by the way. All right, so for your actions and options this week, you have the Queen of Pentacles. So in some way, shape or form, you show up as yourself. Now, remember, so Pentacles, obviously this is your suit. You add to this then the fact that it's the Queen, and this week you are working on proliferation. You are working on getting the most out of everything that you have, squeezing the last damn drop out of life itself, which is amazing. You add this to that Emperor energy, and I feel like this week you could be working on an opportunity that comes in really spontaneously. Like you're going to be really okay, and I feel like it's going to be spontaneous, and it's probably got something to do with that powerful full moon that's happening at the end of the week. If you haven't seen the weekly general, please, I beg you this week, go and watch it. It was probably one of the most powerful ones I've ever done since I've been doing the weekly general, and I do not say that lightly. All right, so the other thing with the Queen of Pentacles, this is going to see you really paying attention to your physical health. For a lot of you, this is about really, you know, and I'm totally in line with this belief now, just because I've seen it for so many different people. Your health is directly, it's not just your finances, it isn't just linked to your self-esteem and all of that. Like it's totally that, but it's also linked to your health. And if your health is not good, then your finances won't be good either. You know, and that's not to say there's not loads of people in the world that are super rich, but really unhealthy. But what does that tell you? There's obviously a disconnect there somewhere. Anyway, soapbox moment over. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Five of Swords, especially here with the Empress. This week, maybe there's something that you're saying or doing that is the unpopular opinion, right? But you're going to have to go there. This week, maybe you're having to divulge an uncomfortable truth. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, maybe this is the week where you have to say to the boss, actually, I've applied for another job and I got it and it's time for me to leave. For some of you, this could be literally, you know what? I want more money for the amount of work that I do. Maybe this is you, for some of you, you could be outlining to your boss, I do this, this, and this, and this, and I don't feel that my money or my wage reflects the amount of work that I do. For some of you, another way that this could show up for you, if that's not your experience of it, for those of you that work for yourselves, maybe there's a conversation that you have to excuse me, that you have to have with an employee that is, that could be really challenging, and you're putting yourself in this driving seat. And sometimes that means having to say the things that are challenging to hear. Sometimes it means having to make the call that is the unpopular one, but is the best decision in the long run. So this week, when it comes to your communications, if you find that they're a bit edgy, it's probably because even though what you're saying is unpopular, I read this actually in a book, and it really rung a chord with me, and it always will. And that line was, sometimes it's harder to forgive somebody for being right than it is to forgive them for being wrong. And this week you might find that that is the way that this shapes up for you. So just be aware that that energy is floating around. When it comes to those of you that are retired or no longer working for any reason, this week, I would consider, for all Taurians really, choose your battles wisely. But more importantly, this week, with that Five of Swords, if yours is the unpopular opinion, maybe it's time to say, look, you know what? You don't want the answers, don't fucking come to me, okay? But I'm not a Taurus, but that's how I am. My family know now, like, if I don't want answers, if I'm not prepared to find solutions, if I'm not prepared to keep it moving and push it forward, I'm not going to RAF, because I know I'm going to get chewed out. That's just me. Right, maybe you have a bit more diplomacy and tact than I do. And, I like to consider that I've got a fair amount, but I will not suffer that whole woe is me. Like, once you get into that space, you've lost me. For your love and relations, you have the King of Wands, right? And just going back to that point, by the way, for those of you that know me and have been with me long enough, you know I'm deeply caring, and I care a lot about people, and I would never see anybody in a bad situation. But at the same time, if you want to unpack and stay there, I can't help you with that. All right, if and don't get me wrong, again, you have to feel what you feel. I don't know why I'm justifying this, you guys know me. For your love and relations, you have the King of Wands, right? So this week, for those of you that are partnered or in relationships, this could be a very sexy week. This could be a very powerful week when it comes to connecting with your partner on that physical plane. You've got that Queen of Pentacles there. So this is about really squeezing every last sexy drop out of your relationship, and also bringing more humor back to it, which I feel like this week can absolutely happen. I would say that the partner as well gets some sort of good news or elevation this week. Because you've got it with that Five of Swords though, I wonder if somewhere here your schedules are now going to clash. Just be aware that that might be a possibility. When it comes to those of you that are single, if you're meeting someone this week, they could very well be an Aries. And you know what we say about earth and fire. Earth and fire bring my desire, baby. So again, this just looks like it could be a very sexual, very sensual week. Even with the rugged communication that is possible this week, it looks like there can be a sexual energy behind it. Now, outside of that, you do have the Emperor, you do have the Five of Swords, and you do have the King of Wands. That could literally be a legal situation or matter that comes up for review that you may not be expecting, or maybe you just kind of think, you know what, I really don't have fucking time to deal with this, so on to the next. But just something to be aware of, because it is kind of there. For your money and materials, you've got the Six of Wands. All in all, I think this is going to be a great week for money for you guys. You had that Two of Wands there. Remember though, this week is about action, right? And that Six of Wands is basically saying you want to make the big bucks, You got to sing to the rooftops about why you should be making them big bucks and who you actually are. This is a week if you've got to get out there, you've got to be active, you've got to let people know. If you're into attraction marketing, letting people know, like, this is what I do, this is what I solve, this is what I'm good at, this is a week for you, right? You've really got to push it to the max, because Taurus isn't one to boast. That's one thing about you guys. Like, you're usually very sure in your ability, but it's not a sign that is boastful. But this week I invite you to be that, right? And so much more. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, your 6 of Wands is your back and your spine. With that 5 of Swords there and the King of Wands, no sudden movements. I say that, like, usually it's like the most ridiculous thing. Like, you speak to bodybuilders and they're like, oh yeah, I was they go to the gym and they lift all these crazy amounts of weights and all kinds of crazy positions, and then I was at home, I picked the baby up wrong, twinge. Do you know what I mean? Like, just be careful with your back this week, because it could be something really simple that you're doing, and before you know it, you're like, oh crap, here we go. When it comes to your home and environment, the 6 of Wands with that 5 of Swords, a dispute or a challenge that comes to the home this week is going to be resolved in your favor, which I really, really like. Maybe it's you taking something down the legal route. That could be a possibility as well. It looks like it will only be minor though. Like, whatever it is, it comes up and it's dealt with quickly. Providing it is dealt with, right? And your Human Design Oracle card for the powerful full moon at the end of the week is the Gate 53 and opening. Remember I said there's an opportunity that comes up for you spontaneously this week? That's this, right? This basically says that whatever it is that shows up for you may not seem like much at the time, but it will be powerful nonetheless. And this is always... It's kind of like that when one door closes, another one opens. It's a cliche, but how true is it? We all know this because we've experienced it, right? So all in all, it actually looks like a good week. Yes, communication's a bit iffy. You might have one situation that comes up that's a bit... but just be aware that for the most part, you get through the week in actually a really grand way. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.